Hello and welcome back to another episode of whatever the hell this is. Today I thought it would be interesting for me to tell you about a few Tinder experiences that I have had in the past. Now, as we all know, Tinder isn't necessarily the greatest of dating apps, and I'm sure that without that too much extensive research, you could probably find some even worse Tinder horror stories than what I'm about to tell you right now. But let me start with the first Tinder date I ever went on. This was like college. Believe it or not, I've never dated anybody consistently in my entire life. But that doesn't mean that I'm not willing to try, and I certainly was willing to try new experiences back in college. I'm still in college. What the hell am I talking about? This was freshman year of college, and I was never really into Tinder because it scared me. It's just like swiping left or right on people based on their looks. It's just seemed a little weird. I was willing to try because my roommate's friends at the time were all about it. So I matched up with this guy who I didn't know at the time when I matched up with him, but he is very, very rich. He sort of was like, oh, let me take you out to dinner sometime. And I was just like, okay. So I'm living in a dorm at this time. He is like an international student, so he was like, his situation was weird. I don't know. He pulls up to my dorm in like this smoking hot red vehicle that like only very rich people can afford. So I get into this luxury car and I'm like, damn. And he takes me to Cheesecake Factory. Surprise, surprise, right? And it's like what the plans were was that we would go to Cheesecake Factory and then go to a movie, even though no good movies were really out at that time. But I was like, whatever, we should spend time together in whatever way possible, So we go to the restaurant, and like the service was really shitty, probably because it was like a Tuesday night. It wasn't like a Friday night where it would be like expectedly busy. No, this was like a Tuesday, and like the service felt like really bad. But it was like during this time that I felt that this guy, he had a sort of spoiled demeanor, and that's because like he was from some part of like the Middle East where it's like they're super duper rich, and like that sort of shows in his personality. Like he's used to getting what he wants like ASAP. I was a little iffy about that. And this definitely showed like when we weren't getting service quickly enough. And so like we ended up missing the movie completely. And I was like, it's okay, it's fine, who even cares? I literally didn't want to see that movie anyway because it looked like shit. So instead we just walk around the mall. We were at the mall and we just like kind of hung out and talked. He seemed like a kind of okay guy. But then like something happened. Like I didn't talk to him for like some ridiculous amount of months. Well, this was freshman year, and then like summer happened where I didn't do anything with him because he was, in a different country. And then I come back to school, and so does he, and I was like, oh, maybe I should like hang out with this guy again. I only got like one date with him, like just a taste, But like during this time I had I had a really, really rough falling out with one of my friends, and that like really, really destroyed me, honestly. So then like I told him like what was happening in my life, so he knew that I was upset and not necessarily in the best place. He like treated it sort of like I was like, I can't really hang out with you right now because of all this shit that's going on in my life. And then he got like really mad about it. He was like, I don't get you. And I'm like, bitch, you don't get me? I already told you everything in my life that was wrong. And yet you still insist on us like, whatever, doing this thing that like doesn't even matter. But so then I blocked him. As you will be able to figure out, and most of these stories end with me blocking the other person. Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? Who even knows? I matched up with another guy. I always match up with guys. Like the only dates I've ever been on were with guys. which might be the problem, because I might be gay. Don't really know yet, though. So, I matched up with this guy who, like, he seemed fine, but it's like, he wasn't going to school, he was just, like, working, and, like, not good working, like, at Burn Dairy kind of working. He seemed like a chill guy, I don't know. For some reason, I guess I bring out, like, the horniness in people, because, like, a lot of my Tinder conversations tend to turn to sex, which, I mean, like, I guess should be expected since it's Tinder, but it's like, I'm not necessarily, like, on there just for sex, you know? I know that not a lot of people are on there for more than that, but a lot of people I know, like, use it seriously. Alright, the thing is, if you talk, like, a little dirty to me, I'll get, like, massively horny. Oops. It's like he would do that to me all the time, and I'm just like, God damn it, I'm literally, like, in a room with another person. You can't do that to me right now. And, you know, like, just to piss me off, he'd continue to do it. But it's like, overall, he seemed like a pretty okay guy, and then I met him in person, but it's like, one problem that I had was, how do I describe this? He was sort of, like, clingy to an extent, where it's like, it was clingier than me, which is saying a lot. He was trying to, like, commit to me, like, before he even knew me. He was like, oh, I don't really think we should go on this date that we've planned, because I want to get to know you more. And I'm just like, what the fuck do you expect? How do you expect us to get to know each other more, like, over an app? Like, you can only know someone for so much over the internet before you have to, like, meet them in person to really know what they're like, you know? Is that just me? Am I the only one who, like, has this sort of mindset? We went on a date, and, like, he was okay, but it's like, he talked a bit too much about memes, which, I mean, like, we have that in common. We both really like memes, but it's like, the thing is, I think when I date someone, I need to date someone who's not all that much like me. Like, I need someone who, like, I need someone who's, like, more confident, so that, like, my extreme shyness can, like, even them out, and that they can even me out, too. And it's like, so I need to date someone who's, like, isn't that into memes, so that my obsessiveness over memes can, like, we can even each other out. So it was like, I was just not feeling it. I didn't think we clicked. And then he, like, kept messaging me afterwards, and I was just like, he ended up getting blocked. Am I an asshole? Am I a douchebag? I really do think that, like, I'm more tolerant of, like, bullshit if it's coming from girls, because I can understand them, but when it's with guys, I can't. Girls, I know, like, what they're going, it's like, because they're also a girl, I am a girl, since we're both girls, I can understand, like, how they think and stuff, you know? But it's like, guys, I can't. They're just like, it's so weird. Over Tinder, I have seen more guys being more willing to commit than girls. I don't think that's right. That sounds kind of backwards. Okay, so the next Tinder story. Okay, well, after that happened, I delete the app because I'm just like, no, that was like sophomore year-ish, and then later, I guess it's junior year. Yeah, this year. This just past year. My junior year of college, I re-downloaded again because I don't learn anything. This time, I'm like, alright, whatever, maybe I'm still straight to an extent. But what happens is that I match up with this other guy who my friends know. Like, my friend accidentally super liked him when he had super liked me, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, that was a mistake. But then we sort of hit it off to an extent. He goes to, like, the school that's literally, like, right next to my school. Like, we basically share the same campus. Oh, I guess you know which school that I go to based on this wonderful, wonderful sweater. So we basically, like, plan a date right away, because we're like, wow, look at this great conversation that we've had. Then I meet him. Let me tell you right now, be careful of people on Tinder or whatever matching actual dating website you're using. If if they don't have any pictures of them showing their teeth, it means that they have fucked up teeth. I meet him and I'm like, oh, you have fucked up teeth. Now, not like it should really matter that much. I mean, beauty is only skin deep, right? There comes a time when you're like, okay, I could deal with this physical flaw, and there's like, I cannot ignore this. He didn't really look exactly like how I pictured he'd look. To an extent, I suppose he catfished me, but I don't know how, because it's like, they were normal pictures that weren't edited at all. It's just like, you know those people who like look better through a camera than in real life? Probably me, honestly. I'm sorry, I don't talk this often, so I have to take lots of drinks of water. We go on our little date. It's ridiculously awkward because he's just a naturally awkward person. Now let me tell you another thing. I cannot date someone who's awkward because I am the epitome of awkward, if you cannot tell already. And he is just like, God. Oh my God, he looked like an old man. He was 1 year older than me and he looked like an old man. Fucking awful. But it's like, it seemed like it was okay at the time, right? Because like, you know, those first few like 20-ish minutes of like a date where you like, where it's just awkward small talk and then you get into more serious stuff. It was kind of like that. And I'm like, well, it was okay, like, when he's comfortable. But it's like, he's not always comfortable. In fact, he's like very rarely comfortable. And I saw this because another thing that like helps me figure out if I like someone or not is like how they interact with other people. So the night after this date, I like call up my friend and she's like, yo, you should come over, we're getting lit. God, that's fucking stupid. And so I come in and they're all hanging out, drinking, getting high, and being generally happy and not suicidally depressive. Then they're like, oh, you should invite that guy that you went on a date with. And I'm like, okay. I invite him. He lives on their street, by the way. He comes over. Awkward. He's just, oh my God. He's like, sure, like, to an extent, my friends were acting a little crazy since they were lit, as I said before. But it's like, you know, if I went to someone's house and they were all acting crazy, I think it'd be fucking great. I'd be like, yo, motherfucker, hook me up. But, like, he was just like, you know those people who take like forever to finish a goddamn sentence because they're just second guessing every single word in their head? That's exactly what he was doing. And I couldn't deal with it. So I literally was like kicked him out of the house. It wasn't even my house, but I kicked him out. Our conversation went along the lines of like, I was like, really, the thing is like, by this time I'm like still really questioning like, am I still even straight? The answer is no. I don't like men. I talked to him about it beforehand, but I was like, yeah, I don't really think that this can work. And he was like, okay, should I leave? And I'm like, yeah, you should. And then he like tried to like do an awkward hug, and I was just like not in the mood for it, so I was like, and he left. But the problem is, on our actual date night, I asked him if he wanted to go to my friend's concert with me 2 days from that day. So, okay. Date happened on Friday. I was at my friend's house Saturday. The concert's on Sunday. Now, this is like a concert, like a School of Music concert. This is a music student who's, like, doing a flute concert. So, you know, it's classy stuff. So, like, the thing, it's like that night when he leaves my friend's house, I block him. Yep. The concert on Sunday is, not until, like, literally, like, 7 o'clock at night. So, it's like 24 hours later, and I haven't talked to him at all or anything. He shows up at the concert. and he sits next to me. And I'm like, how come men can't take a hint? They really fucking can't, apparently. He's sitting next to me, and I'm like trying to not look at him, and I'm just giving him like the coldest shoulder ever, because I'm pissed that he would think that it would still be okay that after not talking to me for 24 hours, that it'd be okay to show up at something that he knew I was gonna be at, obviously. And it's like you would think like, oh, they blocked me. Perhaps all offers that were made are completely off the table at this point. Apparently not. He thought in his fucking ape brain that it would have been fine to show up. And it's like, I'm like, I don't think I can tell you that part. That was a day that I was really not feeling too well. I was really upset about a different thing. It was complicated. I was pissed and really sad. So, like, to have him be there, like, literally made my, like, tolerance for bullshit go to fucking the dirt low fucking, like, tolerance for other bullshit. So he's like, should I leave? And I'm just like, so he leaves. Thank the Lord Jesus Christ. The problem is, he literally lives like one street, at the time anyway, he lived one street away from me. I saw him all the time when I was walking to class or work or whatever. Or when I was even coming home, I'd still see him. I would literally cross the street so I wouldn't have to look at him to avoid him. Because I just don't want to deal with that shit. Oh God. That was the end of that Tinder date. The next Tinder date, and currently my most recent one, that has made me delete the app from my phone, maybe forever, maybe not, because I need to find girls somehow, but I'm never, ever, ever going on a Tinder date with a guy ever again after this date. Let me tell you about it. So I match up with this guy, who he seems fine, but it's like the thing is, apparently men don't know how the fuck to like make a decent dating profile, because all of his pictures were shit. There was like one picture where like his face is in like the corner of this goddamn picture. And I'm like, boy, your pictures suck. And he's like, I'm sorry. So then he sends me like a picture of what he really looks like, and I'm like, oh, okay, you look much better there than the fucking pictures on your profile. And he was like, okay, I think you should know that I'm really tall. And I'm like usually that doesn't work, doesn't fucking matter to me. It's like, again, beauty's only skin deep, right? Right? So we planned basically, again, this was another like, oh, let's go on a date, like immediately. And I'm like, alright, whatever. It's like, really, you can only know someone so much over a screen, like I've said. So we go on this date. We're literally just like getting coffee. Well, what happened was that we were gonna have this date, and then I had to go to a band thing right afterwards. So I was like in my band garb, my band clothes. Not like the uniform, but like, it's a different uniform. Okay, there's marching band, and then there's pep band. I was in the pep band uniform. It's much less show-offy. So I'm showing up in that, and I'm like carrying my flute and stuff with me. He's like, oh, hi. And then it's like, you know when you like go on, when you're going on like a date with someone who you've never met in real life, you immediately are hit, sometimes, you're immediately hit with a, like, just the vibe of, oh dear God, I do not want to be with this, I don't even want to look at this person or talk to this person. That's immediately what I got. Not to mention, when he said tall, he did mean tall. Mr. Guy is like super, super tall, but it's like, he has a really awkward build. Like, his torso is shorter than like his arms and his legs, so he looks like a troll man. So Mr. Troll Man is like staring me down, right? We talk about stuff that I can't even fucking remember because I was just so fucking scared. Let me just finish up this video real quick. I'm editing it right now because this camera decided to fuck up. And he was like giving me these like most intense, crazy eyes that like were awful, and I I'm going to suggest something to you right now, okay? Men, do not intimidate your date. Don't try to do it because it's not going to work. What happened with this guy later was that I blocked him on everything because he was awful, and that's apparently just what I do. Okay, so when you block someone, you can override that block thing if you put *67 before you try to call them. But like you'll show up on their phone as an unknown number. He did that to me 3 times. He left a message the second time, and I was like, oh my god. Let me give you some more advice, men. If a woman blocks you, leave them alone. Do not try to persist further. Don't do it. I don't give a shit what all those romantic comedies say. Don't push it, because that's bad. You'll make them hate you, okay? So, that was my most recent Tinder date. I think from now on, I'm just going to try to date girls because, you know, they have common sense, apparently. That's why I deleted Tinder. And I hope you enjoyed those stories. That's it for now. Goodbye. I'll see you in the next installment.